Ahoy everyone and welcome back once again to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a chronograph by Cronos. Now, for those of you not familiar with Cronos, they are an AliExpress brand and they're probably best known for producing beautifully made watches. Their build quality is generally very good. They're probably the brand on AliExpress that gets the closest to San Martin in terms of finishing. So I always look forward to seeing their new releases. Unfortunately, in the past, they've made a few rookie mistakes, schoolboy errors. They've just made a couple of little odd decisions, I think is what I'm trying to explain, using movements that I don't think are as popular as other movements, putting frames around date windows. They've come so close on many occasions to producing just sensational watches. So whenever I handle a new release by Cronos, the first thing that goes through my mind is, oh, have they got it right? Look, don't get me wrong, I know we're looking at very affordable watches. The watch that I'm going to be showing you today is, at the moment, at the time of filming this anyway, $145, right? So how picky can we be? But AliExpress has set the standards so high that, well, we have to be a little bit picky when we're reviewing these watches. It would be a terrible channel if every time I got an AliExpress watch I just went, look, it's really cheap, so it's great. That's not what you want to hear. You want to hear, well, the facts. And that's what you're going to get. So I'm going to run through the specifications. I'm going to show you the build quality because it is very good. And then we're all going to decide, have they nailed it or have they just missed the mark once again? Now, quite often when I look at chronograph watches, they always look familiar to me. It's quite difficult these days to produce original looking watches, but I think that is even more challenging when it comes to chronograph watches because they have to have certain design elements to them. So they can on occasions look like a lot of other chronograph watches, and this one does look like a few other watches, although it more closely resembles a Zenith. So yeah, it's a Zenith homage, which is a good looking watch. So of course this Cronos is a good looking chronograph. Yeah, it's very nice, isn't it? Great proportions. I think they've done a good job. The finishing on the case and the dial, the hands, those applied indexes, it is remarkable. It really is. Cronos, well, like I've said already, they're known for this sort of thing and they've got a great reputation for build quality, and once again they're demonstrating that you don't need to spend a small fortune to pick up a beautifully finished watch, and this really is a beautifully finished watch. I'm now going to come on to the straps though. It's been sent with a rather generic leather strap. It's available on 4 different straps, a couple of rubber ones, a couple of leather ones. The buckle isn't signed. I think they're just giving you a few options, and really they've put the money into the watch, the case, you know, all that sort of stuff. They probably know that you're gonna pick your own strap for watches like this, so I don't really hold it against them too much. When you're paying this sort of money for a watch, you cannot always expect beautifully made, you know, hand stitched, branded, you know, beautifully crafted leather straps. It's just not going to happen. But at least this leather strap isn't shiny and glossy. It's a sort of matte faux croc print strap. It's okay. Now we're going to take a look at the movement, and you've probably looked at the watch and thought, wow, there's a mecha quartz movement in there. Without a doubt, a Seiko mecha quartz snapback chronograph movement. No, it's a Miyota 6S20. They're not bad movements at all, actually. They're roughly £20 to buy, so we're not looking at a super cheap, affordable, disposable, you know, quartz movement. These are decent movements. 4 years battery life. Date complication, there is a running seconds hand at the 6 o'clock. At the 3 o'clock you've got sort of fractions of a second complication for the chronograph, and at the 9 o'clock you've got the minutes for the chronograph. So no 24-hour subdial on this one, yay! But it is a quartz chronograph movement, so you don't get that same sort of snap back function that you get with the mecha quartz movements when you reset the chronograph. other hand, the running seconds hand on the main dial just sort of slowly resets itself. The alignment though is very, very good. It's more consistent on this movement than it appears to be on the Mecha Quartz movements. With those Mecha Quartz, every now and then you sort of reset the chronograph and the seconds hand on the main dial sort of sits either side of the 12. This one seems to line up nicely every time, and Cronos have applied the hands in the subdials nicely, so yeah, I'm pleased that everything lines up on this watch. Now, did they make the right decision to put this movement inside this watch? I think only you can decide that. Yeah, it would have been, well, probably a bit boring of them to use the Mecha Quartz movement. It's nice that they've used something a little bit different. We like variety, although I know there are some people out there that will be disappointed because they like the fact that those Mecha Quartz movements are, well, quartz, but also partly mechanical. So there's a little bit more romance when it comes to those movements. But yeah, I don't mind this movement at all. They are good movements. Now, when we zoom into the dial and look at the hands and those applied indexes, very, very nice. I've said it a couple of times already, I think. Cronos make beautifully finished watches. The steel finishing on this watch is really, really good as well. The case is beautifully finished. The case back is outrageous, actually. You've got some brushing and polishing on that case back. No case back should be that well finished. It seems a waste, doesn't it? Yeah, the polishing is unbelievable. The sides of the case are polished and they are super reflective, really, really flat, mirror-like. Yeah, you could put your makeup on using this watch. It's yeah, very, very well finished. 100 meters of water resistance, pull push crown. The case back is screwed down. Sapphire crystal with internal AR coating, which is nice. And it's a piece of double domed box crystal, so we're not looking at a super cheap piece of flat sapphire crystal. Yeah, decent piece of crystal on this watch. I'll show you the lume degrading at the end of the video, which will be very, very soon. I'm almost done. Yeah, let me know what you think of my new lume comparison videos at the end. I've sped up a sort of 5-minute degradation clip of 3 watches. A really, really good watch with incredible lume, a Seiko MM300, a terrible watch, some sort of Navi Force $10 watch from AliExpress, and then I plonk the watch in the middle that I'm reviewing. I speed up the lume degrading for 5 minutes into a sort of 20-second clip, and then you can compare the watch that I'm reviewing with either a really bad watch or a really good watch, and you'll see where it sits. So yeah, I hope that's useful. Well, actually, I think it is time to pretty much wrap this up. So $145 for this watch. That seems to be the sale price. I think the day-to-day price is closer to $175. Look, I do think some people will be put off by the movement in this watch. Having said that, in my opinion, I don't think they've dropped the ball when it comes to this watch. Yes, the strap isn't great, and yes, the movement isn't going to be for everybody, but we do need some variety on AliExpress, and there are a lot of chronograph watches already available on AliExpress with Seiko Mecha Quartz movements in them. So I applaud Cronos for making something a little bit different, and it is beautifully made, isn't it? It's a great looking watch. Of course, we can't credit them with the design, but they've executed it very, very well. And yeah, I did have a few people reach out to me and say, when are you going to review this chronograph by Cronos? Well, I've just done it, and yeah, you're about to let me know what you think of it, guys. As always, thanks for watching, guys.